What we have here is the Mondo He-Man Deluxe set on this visual tour. Well, hello folks, Danoby2 here, and thank you for joining me once again on another visual tour. This is the timed edition He-Man Deluxe set. This was a 2-week pre-order. Window was only open for about 2 weeks. Back in June, I want to say the end of June. So after this video, if you decide that you'd like to try to hunt one down, you will have to resort to the secondary market, unfortunately. Yep. Now, before I go into a little bit greater detail, though, I do know that a lot of He-Man, even just toy collectors, they just always go back to some of these videos just to do a lot of comparison between the past releases and the future releases moving forward. This one has 3 heads. 3 heads. You have the Filmation version, and you have an angry He-Man and a regular He-Man head sculpt there. So just gonna pan that way you can kind of visually see how the set is presented. This was, I want to say, I think it was $265. Yeah, $265. Overall, first impressions before I go into greater detail, I'm blown away. The paint application for the skin tone is very, very fantastic. So let's dive back into the past a little bit. So I want to say 2018, Mondo had their regular He-Man. Then they had a Mondo exclusive He-Man, and then the one we're going to be reviewing is, I would say, their 3rd version. This is the He-Man Deluxe, and then there is a current version, which is a more of a dumbed down version of the Deluxe. This one was just recent, and which makes sense since you do want a He-Man with a Battle Cat, because there was a timed edition of Battle Cat. So 3rd version. What's really cool about Mondo is that every time that they've done He-Man, it's always different. You can tell from the first version to the deluxe version to even the more economical version, which if you missed out on this one, this is probably the better value. You can still resort on getting the regular one though, but I still say this is probably the better value here. So far, I'm just looking at the paint application. I love the skin hues scheme that they're using on here. There is minor defects with the paint, which I'm going to kind of touch, but I want to kind of emphasize that with these 1/6 scale action figures, the paint tends to stick, and you want to be very, very careful when it comes to articulation. I've just learned by experience just to break out the heat gun. This is, I want to say this is a $22, $23 heat gun off of Amazon. If you don't have one, I would highly recommend you get your very own. I do have an Amazon link that'll take you directly to this version. I've had this one now for a little over a year, and it is fantastic. It really helps with the joints, loosens them up. Here's the thing: if I had kept this He-Man in storage, and I have just months later gotten back to it, and I accidentally break that leg joint, I'm screwed, right? It's just what happens. Or, worst case scenario, I get it and I break the joint, and then I contact Mondo. Mondo's like, yeah, we're out of the Deluxe. We'll just gladly issue a refund. That to me would be even worse. The fact that they wouldn't even have a replacement, they would just end up giving your money back. And so I would always, when it comes to Mondo and this type of figure, body, and the articulation joints that they're using, I would absolutely have a heat gun present. Now, overall, I think this is a fantastic figure, even though the head is loose. But when I do swap out the head later on, though, with the angry He-Man face, it's a little bit more, there's more tension involved on it here. And again, this is just constantly, what I'm doing here is just playing with the joints. I don't want them to stick. It's cold right now in the room. It's probably 48 degrees outside, so after I settle on the look and the pose and the image, it's going to stay like that for quite a while. So absolutely make He-Man work for you. Every pose, every angle, up and down, and then some. Also, what's different about this one is that they include the loin, well, not, I would say the barbarian loincloth there, the soft good, versus the original He-Man had the pleather skirt, I want to say. To me, this is more how He-Man should look, with the barbarian, I guess, underwear or the loincloth, with the soft goods fur around the boots there. So they did, to me, this is like, wow, this is good. Even though I wanted the original one and I missed out on it, I'm happy that they came out with this version. Because if I would have bought the first one, I still probably would have bought this one, because to me this is more accurate. Now, I took out the armor, and I see that the armor is leaving paint markings on there. You can kind of see it right there, and this is really bugging me right there. I'm not going to return this figure because of paint markings from the battle armor straps. What I will show you, folks, is how to kind of take care of it without damaging the figure. Very, very simple. So before I move any further, I'm going to grab a dry eraser. You can see it right there. That's kind of bugging me. There's little markings right there. But I'm just going to focus for the video. It's just on the top chest, because it's very it's awful, and that's just from the armor. So dry eraser, just lightly dab, because I don't want to remove the actual paint. I know that the dirt gray markings are from the armor, so I'm just gonna a little bit of dab it on there, and just be careful, be very gentle. And this is probably going to be the best way to maintain the figure for its longevity. And I didn't really focus on his lower abs. I just really wanted to just show you folks, like, look, a little bit of a dry eraser rub. It will remove the gray scuffins on there, still protecting the actual paint of the body. But that lower one is a little bit more difficult, so I will come back to that one probably after the video. I just wanted to show you that using a dry eraser is probably going to be your best tool, because if you do have a He-Man inbound, or you have one already, and you're kind of annoyed, the dry eraser is probably the best bet. Now, the armor that scuffed his chest, I will add a thin layer of Gorilla Glue. I love Gorilla Glue, and a thin layer of Gorilla Glue adds a barrier that way. Because here's the thing, if I keep this armor for several years, the dry eraser technique may not work. That gray paint may become embedded, and if, not that I plan on reselling this, but if I ever decide to, those type of markings absolutely affect the resale value, even though I don't really plan on selling this He-Man. But for you folks out there who do just want to kind of protect your investment, just for longevity. Head sculpt here, this is the angry face, just looking at it here, so forth. It's pretty cool. I mean, it works. And the Filmation look, which I'm not too keen on. It's a little bit too, what's the word? Uncanny valley. There you go. That's probably the word I would probably use. But yeah, I like the regular head sculpt that came with it. And then the two swords. Got the glow sword on there, and I'm assuming this is probably based off of the recent He-Man Netflix show, which I'm not a big fan of. I will probably take the silver sword and I'm going to repaint it. I'm going to probably give it more of a chromy, shiny look. It's really easy. A little bit of a Rust-Oleum chrome paint just works wonders, and so I'm probably going to repaint this later on. And then a little thigh dagger on there, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to mess with this. I'm not going to repaint it or anything, but I definitely will go back to his main sword, touch it up later on. Dagger's pretty cool. And then he comes with 2 pairs of hands, 3 you see right there, and then the 4th one, it's his action fist bump, full of energy, Dragon Ball Z style, with the electrical energy, very flexy plastic on there too, which is really, really cool. I'm not going to use this. This is too much. I'm just fine with the regular He-Man. And more accessories for his battle armor, and it's magnetized, which is pretty cool. Makes it easy to kind of swap out. It's like the toys. No, bad focus on there. I need to take care of that. Sorry about that. But you can kind of see the magnets on there. Yeah. And it's pretty sturdy, gotta say. Now the bottom layer, or what makes this set the deluxe, is I love this this chest armor here. This is pretty badass. I like this. Oops. This is really, really cool here. I was thinking about giving it a chrome finish, but I kind of like the gunmetal look to it, so I'm gonna leave this alone. Just kind of think, I was like, yeah, it kind of looked badass if it was reflective chrome. But no, the gunmetal I think works better for us. I'm not gonna screw with that. And it clips on with magnets, which is very, very cool. The battle axe right there. Love the weathering. I like the little detail onto it. So they added some love to the axe there, which is pretty cool. He comes with 2 pairs of shields, right? His standard traditional battle shield. Love the leather weathering look to it. Again, it's more of that pewter paint application. And then the crystal gems on here, which actually go inside the shield, which I never did for the video, so apologies for that. But that little ring thing goes inside the shields. And then red gauntlets there. And then this is the shield that you just saw in the photo, which is really heavy compared to the traditional battle armor shield. So it's pretty cool there. And, you know, it's crazy, though, because from the deluxe edition to the regular edition that they just released He-Man for Battle Cat, it's like a $20 difference, and you get so much more. It really, I kind of feel bad for the folks that missed out on this set, because the main value really is on this set. The 4th reissue of He-Man is just one head sculpt and a sword and a shield, and that's it. Now, if you're wondering, with all of these accessories, if you can repurpose them into a Fison TV League body, I can tell you your dreams are cut short, because I actually have that third-party He-Man build kit, and I did build He-Man using a TV League male M35 body, and I didn't even want to pop the head off because the skin tones are just off. It's not gonna look good. So your dreams are gonna be crushed, because I thought about it, I'm like, I don't even want to pop this head off. It just doesn't work. The Mondo He-Man just has more of a vibrant skin tone look. I mean, it just looks more, it pops, versus the Fison TB League. It's just more of a darker tan. But not saying that you can't use the head, though, but you can definitely use the armor. That I do like. So if you do have this third-party He-Man kit, you can absolutely do some armor swapping. You can swap out the armor, and there's Red Sonja there, because I do have a fantasy adventure TB League set up in my module case where the He-Mans, She-Ra, and they're all going to go to. So this is just the TB League He-Man third-party kit, with just borrowing some of the armor, additional armor that came with this Mondo He-Man, which works. You can kind of kit. There's a lot of kit bashing opportunity here for you. There really is. Now you can see that just going back later. This is probably like 30 minutes later. The scuff markings on his chest are holding up. That's with the dry eraser. You can kind of still see the bottom one, which I was just. You don't want to go too hard with the dry eraser. I just don't know how many applications of paint they apply to this He-Man, and I don't want to deal with returns or exchanges. I'm erring on caution here. The heat gun again just makes it easier to pop these arms on and off. My experience with 1/6 scale figures really is with Hot Toys and the bodies that they use and so forth. With Mondo, I still kind of feel I'm somewhat amateur, because they're using 12-inch kind of premium style action figure bodies with exposed joints. And depending on the part of the country you live in, and how the figure is delivered to you, they tend to stick. It's almost like kind of like NECA, where you want to be careful. Now, I haven't had. This is my third Mondo figure, because I do have Hordak, I do have She-Ra, so this will be the third one. And I just, like I said, I had them very long. I don't know how they hold up in the long term compared to just a regular Hot Toys figure or even just a TV League Fison body, right? He looks awesome. Every look, every pose that this He-Man is in is just badass. I can't wait to get Battle Cat. And there's my She-Ra. That's my final look for She-Ra. I never did an unboxing review for She-Ra, but I was really simply blown away. I was really happy with the attention to detail to She-Ra, the amount of accessories. Apologies for the pose, because her legs really should be more close together and just a bit more feminine. This is He-Man looking all Conan-like on top of a dinosaur. I thought it looks just badass. This is me just thinking, it's like, man, I need Battle Cat. Now He-Man is ready to go off into adventure on Battle Cat. Otherwise, and there's the energy punch, just beating the shit out of the T-Rex or the dino there. So this was fun. This was worth the purchase, worth a great addition to my collection. Hopefully, you folks are either going to get the deluxe or the regular, or you're just contemplating whether or not to buy him. He's 100% worth it. Like, subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll probably be doing another He-Man review on Battle Cat.